Alright guys, sorry about my voice, but got a bit of a cold at the minute. Anyway, I've been listening obviously about CM Punk's departure from WWE, and my honest take on it is I reckon it's the best thing that Punk could have done. Ever since Triple H has been in charge, whether it's storyline or whether it's actual fact, he has been abusing power more than what fucking Hitler did to the Jews. I'm not trying to sound offensive, but basically that's what he's been doing in the company. He has been abusing so much power, and in doing so, you've heard the old phrase, you are what you eat, and you've heard the old phrase that when they say, well, normally what people say is, if I ever come into serious finance, it'll never change me. Let's just get one thing straight. The only reason why Triple H is anywhere where he is because he was fucking the boss's daughter. If he isn't married to Steph, Triple H would have been dropped. He probably would have been another Miz, and it would have been an instant drop. In fact, it could have even been worse. It could have been someone like a fucking Tiger Ali Singh. Now, no offence, but let's face it, he's not really the best of wrestlers. So Triple H would have been dropped like a bad habit. There's no way he'd feud with Austin. He wouldn't have got the publicity with The Rock. None of that shit would have happened. It would not have happened at all. So, Punk leaving, I think, is a fucking brilliant idea. I'm begging WWE to piss off Bryan, because my gut instinct tells me that somewhere along the line, Punk is going to join TNA. Now, I keep hearing that obviously they might not be able to afford his wage, but the way I see it is, if he's already set for life, then why would he care about money? Punk didn't really give a shit about money in Ring of Honor. He didn't give a shit about fucking money in JCW, the Jersey Championship Wrestling, and all that stuff. And he didn't care about his money more or less in Japan. He wrestled because he wanted to, and he did it because he enjoyed it. Now, if he's already set for life and he goes to TNA, that's like when Stone Cold and Undertaker left WCW and came to the WWF. We all know what happened to WCW after that. Now, I don't know if any of you remember this. You older fans like myself will remember this, but in I think it was 1999. I'm sure, in fact, yeah, it was 1999. The Rock faced Mankind on Raw for the World Wrestling Federation Championship at that time, and Rock was champion. And some stupid idiot from WCW by the name of Tony Schiavone, in I think it was what was near enough their main event, spat out that apparently the World Wrestling Federation are on about making Mick Foley their champion. And he, if you remember, he went into detail and he said that Foley was they want to make him their champion. Well, that's a joke. Well, the funny thing is, that night, that's where WCW basically took a fatal blow. They did it to themselves. And if Triple H comes out on Raw and says what we think he's going to say, that Punk is gone and that's what's best for business, to me, that's the fatal blow WWE will have. So, I don't know what's going to go down on Monday. I've not really been following it much, but to hear this, you have to find out. It's like a car wreck. You don't want to see it, but sometimes you just have to. And unfortunately, I've got to fucking sit here and at least wait 3 hours of near enough going into a coma to find out if anything's going to be said. But that's me. Anyway, with that being said, if it is a work, this is what I would like to happen at Wrestlemania 30. Now, these matches, these can all happen, every single one of them. Some of them probably are going to happen, some of them might just be a dream, but there's no Hulk Hogan in there, or there's no fucking Jake the Snake. Or there's no serious surprises. Maybe just some upcoming returns that we've not seen maybe in a few years. So, starting off, WrestleMania 30. I think what would be a great idea is we start off with the Tag Team Championships. Now, this being the New Age Outlaws, obviously, versus the Usos versus Goldust and Cody. And in that match, I don't know why, and I'm not a fucking Triple H mark, so I don't think I am, but I'd like the Outlaws to go over on that one. Because it means that they can have a bit more prestige about them. So, in my opinion, the Outlaws should go over in that one. The next match, I've called this the British Brawl between Sheamus and Wade Barrett. I mean, I'm English myself, and I reckon an Irishman and an Englishman going out there, fucking street fighting, and obviously with them both being British orientation, I thought calling it that British Brawl gives it a bit more significance towards a match, and it makes more sense rather than just calling it a street fight. It sounds bland, so I thought I'd chuck something in there. And in that one, I think Sheamus should go over. Should be a surprise finish, but I reckon Sheamus should go over. Next match is Orton versus Batista. Not going to say anything about it apart from Batista should go over. I can't stand him. Who cares about this match? Turn away if you want, but he's got to be in there. Because Batista winning the Royal Rumble, coming back and getting what he was given, it's fucking disgusting to the people that actually worked their arse off and haven't been gone for 4 or 5 years and completely obliterated what could have been a fantastic WrestleMania. So Orton, who in my opinion reminds me of the fucking male version of that dozy cow out of Twilight, whatever her name is, I can't remember her name now, but watch her. This is her when she smiles, her when she's sad, when she's upset, just like fucking Orton. Never changed expression, absolutely fucking boring. So you could call that, if you want, Borton versus Batista. The next match, what I think will be probably one of the show stealers, United States title match, Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins in a ladder match. Now, I think Seth should go over in this one. And hopefully it'll lead on a feud for them to carry on for a while. But I reckon it'd be interesting to see 2 indie quality wrestlers and just let them basically be how they were back in their Rollins obviously was in Ring of Honor and Ambrose was in Combat Zone Wrestling, so combine the two and you could have a fucking great match. Obviously it's got to be within the rules, obviously it's not going to be just like a Combat Zone match, but there could be some give and takes. There could be some spots that you've not seen in a long time, and it would make it more of an interesting match. But yeah, Rollins should go over that, but it should be a great match, and no doubt it would be a great match. The next match that I have on the list is Roman Reigns versus Triple H. Now, Roman Reigns, obviously we know is Rock's cousin. I didn't take to him at first, but after watching him on NXT and then obviously coming into WWE and I watched a bit of that, I think Roman Reigns could actually be a really good wrestler in the WWE. He could probably be better than Dwayne, because this geezer reminds me of someone that wants to be a professional wrestler. He doesn't just want to come in, get some fucking fame and then fuck off to Hollywood. Not mentioning no names, but you know I'm on about anyway. So, and in that one, I hate to say it, but I think Triple H would probably go over. I've got to make it realistic. However, that could lead to a very small feud between the two, in which Reigns would eventually win. It could even involve the Authority and all that crap, or corporation, whatever you want to call it, PG bollocks. I reckon it'd be a good idea to have that to go over. So, unfortunately, yeah, Triple H to go over. The next match that I reckon should happen at Mania after that would be Bray Wyatt versus Cena. Now, I've heard this is already apparently going to happen, but I don't think Bray would go over. But to me, I think Bray should go over. He's a heavy bloke. He's got a shitload of in-ring ability. And I think he's quite an interesting character. I mean, I've never really seen a geezer of his weight size. No offence, Bray, but you're a big lad. I've never seen anyone do that fucking spider crawl that he does, that back crawl. That is creepy, but it is fucking effective and it's awesome. When he does that, kind of reminds me when Taker's gong used to go off, and it's like, oh fuck, everyone in the arena shit themselves and they felt all cold. It's that kind of a moment. But Bray, I reckon, should go over, and he shouldn't go over clean. There should be something that happens. Maybe the Wyatts. Bit similar to the old ECW days in this one. Maybe the Wyatts come out, cost Cena the match, referee gets knocked down, Bray hits the Sister Abigail, and Bray wins. But then it continues straight into the next match. No stop or anything, no advert or whatever, just straight to the match. The Wyatts are in the ring. They're there for the number one contender tag titles, and they have a mystery tag team. They don't know who. They've been finding out for weeks. No clues, no nothing. So we have no idea who the hell it's going to be. Hopefully no twat will put it on the internet. Sorry, Shane McMahon. But if you don't know what I mean by that, check out Survivor Series 2001. And the team I reckon should be is APA. Now, at first, I thought the Outsiders. And the only reason why I thought that is because they've never been to a WrestleMania together like that. But the problem is if you have the Wyatts versus the Outsiders, the Wyatts will not go over. Because, well, let's think Nash and Hall. Hall hasn't been in a wrestling ring since WrestleMania 18, maybe even Backlash, and maybe that was his last time. And in the WWE, I mean. I know he went to TNA, but I'm on about in the WWE. And so I thought APA would be a better choice because they more or less fit the bill of the Wyatts. Kind of when the Acolytes used to face the Godwins. So I thought that would be kind of a similar thing. And the APA would get a massive pop. So it sounds interesting. I reckon that could be a good match. And in that match, the Wyatts go over. But it would be an all-out brawl. But the Wyatts would go over. And I reckon they should go over in a clean fight because let's face it, Ron Simmons is gearing on and JBL's a commentator now. But it should be a brawl. But the Wyatts should go over. Now, a lot of people have been asking for this match, and me personally, I've been asking it for the last fucking 3 or 4 years. In fact, I asked for it in '97 because I reckon this would have been a great match to see. Sting versus Undertaker. Obviously, Taker's going to go over, but this, if they did this right, they could have the mind games of the Dead Man and the mind games of the Stinger, and they could combine the two. And everyone knows what Taker's like for his mind games, but everybody knows what Sting's like for his. They could really build this one up. I know it's probably going to be the only match they'd ever have a go against, but this is probably the time to capitalise on this and do this. And maybe this should be Taker's last match and end it by beating Sting. So, and then Sting will probably just go into his legendary deal or whatever it is. But this to me would be a fucking fantastic match. So, give me your thoughts on that one. Well, give me your thoughts on all of them when I'm finished. Feel free. Now the next one, this probably isn't going to happen, but to me this is a bit of a dream match. Number one contender for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. I had to think of a fair few names, and I reckon these two fit it perfectly. Cesaro versus Brock. Now, we all know that Brock's already came out and they're saying that he gets a title shot no matter what. Cesaro could be someone that could come out and shut him up. And this could lead on to basically a strength versus strength and see who gets the better man. And I think this would be a very, very interesting match to see with the likes of Minnesota's Brock and Switzerland's Cesaro, Castagnoli. And I think that could be quite a good match because Brock, if you've never seen him in his FCW days or his OVW days, he was actually really fucking good. And if he could have a match like that with Cesaro, that could be a big man show stealer. Really could. If they played it out right. But for me, Brock will go over. It would lead to Cesaro maybe costing him the title, and they just continue having brawls. But these guys are wrestlers. Cesaro is one of the best wrestlers I've ever seen. And the strength on the guy. I mean, this is no fake shit. This guy is fucking strong. So and this stuff like that would be quite interesting to see. So yeah, but Brock will go over. And then we have our main event. And that would be the you probably already know who it's going to be. The WWE World Heavyweight Championship match between Daniel Bryan and CM Punk. Now, Daniel Bryan being the champion. But this match would be very interesting to see because it's the first time ever in the WWF or E. This would be a 120-minute Iron Man match. Now, I've seen Punk and I've seen Bryan in Ring of Honor, and they can fucking go for a long time. You don't believe me? Check it out with Chris Hero, Cassius Ohno, who WWE fucked off. And I reckon, if you haven't seen it, check it out. Punk versus Hero. Numerous times they've had 40-minute matches. I mean, there was a TLC match that was on for 103 minutes. There was a 2 out of 3 falls match that was on for 127 minutes or something like that, something daft like that. And it's clever how they've done it. It's brilliant, and the match itself, it starts off more or less with strikes and basically, can you keep me down? No, I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna knock you fucking down, and ragmatalling all around, but. Eventually it builds into a technical match, and it's like they give you everything all you want at once. You get a brawl, and then you get some technicality thrown in, then you get some wrestling thrown in, and then you get your near pinfalls and your submissions. But for a 2 out of 3 falls that last nearly an hour and a half, nearly 2 hours and a half. That's pretty good. So and in that match, through controversy, Punk goes over. Although I like them both, these guys are an Austin and Taker to me. These guys are basically WWE loses these two. You could say goodbye to the company probably within about 5 years. That's how brilliant these two would be, and are in fact. Punk wins because of outside interference. A masked man comes in the ring, smashes Bryan over the head with take whichever weapon you want to choose. Me personally, I'm just thinking of something simple, maybe a steel chair, or even a centre block. It could go down to maybe 5-all or 6-all, 10-all, whatever. It could even be a straight shooter, and it goes into 0-0, and all of a sudden you go into sudden death. But interference from a guy in a mask, and you find out who that guy is there and then. As soon as Punk's won the title, he unveils himself. It's Cassius Ohno, which would be very interesting because Chris Hero and Punk would be fucking awesome in my opinion as an alliance. So that's my take on WrestleMania. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope there's some matches in there that you really would want to see. Personally, I'm really wanting to see the Sting Taker, and I'm fucking waiting as much as I can to see that bloody Iron Man match between Punk and Bryan. If Punk is gone, it's obviously not going to happen within WWE. So if Bryan does get fucked about and he does leave, then let's hope that they both end up in TNA. Let's hope someone can afford to pay their contracts, because those two alone could probably sell out tickets. And remember, as Tony the Pizza Guy says, and it's true, that on Spike, Punk or anybody would be able to speak their mind. They could say what they like. Wouldn't mean shit. And that's what WWE is mostly lacking. They're lacking because there's too much creativity, but not enough inside creativity. So there's my list, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And please drop me a line and let me know what you think. Thank you very much. Bye.